You don't need the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount in order to make a character for Critical Role Call of the Netherdeep. But if you have it, you have some fun, further information and inspiration and ideas and things to guide you. So let's get more in depth with the Explorer's Guide references and the stuff that we can play with. So it will walk you through major areas of the world. It'll walk you through some your new subclass options. It'll walk you through if you would like more grounding in this sort of Wildemount and Exandria specific versions of the major playable races. So if you're leaning towards, all right, what's a Goliath like in this world, or on this continent, you can get a little more guidance there. And Heroic Chronicle, we won't go fully in depth much as I'd love to keep you here for 2 hours go through this. So you have the Heroic Chronicle will let you sort of roll for where you're from, give yourself a background, figure out your social status, uh, things like being what it means to be from the Menagerie Coast, as you mentioned. Um, you can go down through some important people in your life, some moments that altered your destiny, and even give yourself potentially, with if your DM thinks this sounds fun, some prophecies about your future that will help you shape sort of your goals and give you in-game rewards. So I think that is a very very fun optional way to enrich your character creation for Wildemount, in addition to the
It's a
new
really good
player options here.
Yeah, it's a really good tool in general, even if you're not using a wild mount game, but just looking at this Ruined Chronicle, you have to adapt certain things to other settings. But I do think it's like if you're stuck and you're like, I know the stats that I want, but I'm not 100% sure who this character is yet. It's a great just guide to go through and be like, okay, like if you go to like every step along the Heroic Chronicle, it really helps you to flesh out your character in a way that I think is really interesting.
The three subclasses, of course, that you can choose from for adding to your for rolling up here. We haven't officially shown. They deal with Dunamis, the wielding of time and space and possibility magic that we've talked about on the channel before. We talked
Yes.
about the Echo Knight Fighter, which was very very fun. But in addition to that, we have ourselves chronergy magic and graviturgy magic. And these would be especially helpful because Dunamis is primarily studied in the Kreen dynasty, and that's the controlling power in the area of the world we're in. So, if you want to do a deep dive into this area, you have two sort of ready made disciplines. Well, all three of these technically would lend themselves well to a drow or other character affiliated with the dynasty. Riley, any sort of do you have a fave among the three?
I think I would probably do I did like the fighter we talked about, the Echo Knight fighter, so that was an interesting one, but I think if I was gonna make one, I would probably do the chronergy magic because I do like the, like, way of, like, altering pacing and timing and stuff like that, and I think there's, like, a fun potential for a Xhorhasian drow character because a lot of what the drow's faith in Xhorhas is based around, like you said, the why am I
The
blanking on the
Luxon,
name?
yeah.
The Luxon, the beacon. The Luxons have these dodecahedrons, these like beacons that basically capture the souls of people who die within their range, and then resend those souls out to be born again. And then as people who have it's called conscription, and when they get older,
Consecution,
is it
yeah.
called consecution? Sorry, conscription is a very different thing. Well, as they get older, they start to get the memories of their past lives, like filtering through them. So I think it would be really fun to play a character who is this drow who has been like suddenly starting to get these memories in their past lives and like suddenly like as a DM you can like start filtering in things the players are remembering as they go on. And that could be like a really fun background to do. So if you had a wizard who was an expert in that kind of magic or learning to be an expert in that kind of magic, it would be a nice like side by side of learning who you were, learning who you are now and what that means together, also learning the magic that helps you control that exact kind of experience.
A fantastic idea because yeah, one of the basic facts that we alluded to earlier, which is sort of spoilers for campaign 2, but it's a basic fact that you should know going into Call of the Netherdeep, especially if you're from the Jorhas area. You would know that the Luxon is the central faith of the Kreen dynasty, and that it involves consecution, which is this process of rebirth that significantly only works in a certain range of one of these beacons, but that can keep life going across these generations and give you really interesting sort of adolescence experience of past memories. Um, plug in here
I
for there's a comic
recommend, by
going
the
on right
way,
now that's
yeah, the Bright
that
Queen
digs into
comic, I was
this.
gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Sorry, we got overlap by signal delays. But yeah, that
I love it.
comic is actually really good. The comic is a good deep dive into kind of the concept of the Luxon and the faith behind it and things like that.
And the truth is, to start out, you do not need all of this grounding, all of this background, all these optional books. It's just fun. It's just fun additional stuff. Call of the Netherdeep is going to contain everything you need to like information wise to carry on this campaign. But as you're rolling up those characters, these are some of the fun elements available for you to play with. It's an incredible
Mhm.
chance to run maybe some monster races if you've never done a party like that, and to go places none of us have ever been when we get to the starkly terrifying world of the Netherdeep.